Hello everyone, my name is Jack Bandy, and in this presentation I'll be overviewing my systematic literature review of algorithm audits. There are many different motivations for this literature review, but one that stands out to me is that algorithms have come to shape many different parts of society, from the ways we communicate, to the ways we find romance, to how we entertain ourselves, and lots of stuff in between. In short, algorithms have a lot of power in society, and that power is only growing. As shown in the examples on the right, journalists and academic researchers have found that audits can help hold algorithmic systems accountable. Given that algorithm auditing appears to be an important and growing area of academic research, I had a couple main goals for this literature review. First, I wanted to take stock of what has been done in algorithm auditing, and second, I wanted to figure out what remains to do. There has been some related work in this area, but I didn't find a systematic literature review that was scoped to just algorithm audits. Before I go any further, I just want to mention that there are a lot more details in the full paper, and I'm just giving a high-level overview in this presentation. So if you're interested in the details on methods or results or anything else, please be sure to check out the full paper. To conduct a literature review, I needed a working definition of an algorithm audit. After reviewing a lot of related literature and work in this area, here's what I settled on. An algorithm audit is an empirical study investigating a public algorithmic system for potential problematic behavior. I think there are lots of different valid ways of defining an algorithm audit, but this is the one I'll be working with in this study. To find algorithm audit papers, I ran a database search for papers mentioning certain keywords and also making key citations. From there, I found 123 full papers for review, and while I was reviewing those papers, I found 36 additional relevant sources. In total, I analyzed 62 papers in the final analysis. Here's a quick overview of results and findings from the literature review. It definitely appears that algorithm audits are becoming more common over time. However, I will mention this could be partially due to a recency bias in the search terms. For example, an algorithm audit in 2012 might not have called itself an algorithm audit. Another high-level pattern worth mentioning is that there were more audits of Google than any other organization, and as you can see, it wasn't really close. After reviewing all the papers, I worked with another researcher who's familiar with algorithm audits, and we developed a way of classifying audits in the study. I think there are lots of different ways you could do this, but in this study we used 4 groups, which were discrimination, distortion, exploitation, and misjudgment. There's no way for me to go through all the studies I reviewed in this presentation, so instead I just want to highlight a few seminal studies that I think were really important to the development of algorithm auditing. The first is a study by LaTanya Sweeney from 2013, and in this study she demonstrated that searching for black-sounding names on Google returned mentions of arrest and criminal records, but if you searched for white-sounding names you would not get those results. Also in 2013, Sophia Noble published a study where she demonstrated that in a search for black girls, 5 of the top 10 results were sexualized or pornified. This work eventually became the basis for her 2018 book, Algorithms of Oppression. Another seminal study in algorithm auditing is Joy Buolamwini's work in facial recognition systems. This was the first paper among those reviewed to audit intersectional classes, building on the concept from Kimberly Crenshaw. The analysis found a large gap in error rates between darker-skinned females and other intersectional groups. I also want to mention that there's been a lot of great work looking at distortion in online search results, with a particular concern for personalization and filter bubbles. Notably, none of the studies in the review had strong, decisive evidence of filter bubble effects, and this is consistent with Axel Bruns's review in the book on the right. Once again, please check out the full paper for more great algorithm audit studies. To wrap up, here's a few notes on what might come next for algorithm auditing. First, there are some important common ingredients for successful algorithm audits, like setting compelling baselines and defining metrics that quantify the problematic behaviors you want to study. There's also some methods worth exploring more, like code auditing, as well as other platforms and different problematic behaviors that could be of interest to future audit studies. Lastly, the field will definitely be more impactful if it strives for replicability and collaboration. Thanks for watching, and if you want to access these slides or read the full paper, you can go to jackbandy.com/publications.